Hello, my friends. Welcome. We have two special guests here that are in the background that you all can't see, but they are joining us.
Hi, how are you? How are you?
It's Janine and Kerry, and so they are joining us in this precious moment in time and space here at the Apothecary. And so we're all cozy and comfortable, and we're going to have some fun looking at the structures of our reality. So, and you all feel free to jump in with questions at any point. But, so starting with the all-one consciousness that is all love, and fundamentally, I am, I exist, I am conscious, I'm aware, I am love, I am everything, but it's just me. And I'm here infinitely, so I want to play a game of separation, right? So from that perspective of the one infinite creator, the concept of a sphere, and one sphere that creator can go inside of and look out, and then by nesting infinite spheres at intervals with one another, that's twisting the love, pure consciousness, into the illusion of separation, a mountain, a tree, a human, a dog, a car, a bicycle, individual objects, and whatever creation the I am consciousness wants to see. So, coming back to look at, okay, how does it go out from there? We have the concept of a sphere, infinite spheres nested. So this is what I want to show and go over. So, the smallest unit of measurement in our reality is Planck, named after Max Planck. And so fundamentally, Planck is a measurement of radiation of light. It's measured in joule seconds. And so it's the frequency, the spin, like one rotation, and how much light was emitted in that amount of time. Yes.
Oh, sorry, that wasn't a...
Oh, okay, got it. I was like, yes.
An antenna for my concentration.
Okay, perfect. I thought you were raising your hand. Okay, so we have one sphere that is Planck length. So with Planck, this is, we derive from, Planck, which is measured in joule seconds, and it's a radiation of light over a period of time. But from that, we derive Planck length, which is written like this, if you want to do the fancy characters. And so this sphere is going to be 1 unit of Planck length. Basically, we have this universe, and there's a maximum, the edge of the universe, and there's a minimum, and the minimum is Planck.
What's the H?
Yeah, H is Planck, and it's measured, I'm not going to write the numbers out right now, but it's measured in joule seconds. And it's the radiation of light.
Where does the word joule come from in relation to this?
Joule is a measurement of light.
Okay.
So how much light is being emitted over a spin cycle, one spin.
You mean the spin, the way light moves as in spins?
So,
the particles.
So the particles, yeah,
Oh,
and we'll get into that because that's Bearden's work, which I'm about ready to make a video on. Maybe, do I just make that video right now?
No, you're doing.
No,
go,
okay,
go,
we're
go,
gonna do
go,
this.
go, go, go.
If I have time, I'll
You need the
incorporate that
basics,
as well.
the basics.
Okay, yeah, but that is very relevant because two photons couple to become a graviton, and each photon has a spin of 1. So, okay, so we're going to start with our little sphere that's like a mirror sphere that can reflect light or it can allow light to come through. And it's going to be 1 unit of Planck length.
So what is this shape you've done?
What's that?
This like loopy shape before the P?
That's just the scientific
L.
way
L.
of
Of
writing
Oh,
Planck length.
Length, not length.
Scientific way of writing L?
Yeah, like
Length?
this is an L, like a cursive L, length Planck.
Okay. Sorry to be so detailed.
No, it's okay because this is part of it is when we learn what each Greek character means, or c referring to the speed of light, and we know, oh, it's just a variable, it refers to something, it's very learnable. So yeah, H, and while we're at it, we might as well talk about H bar. And you put the little bar over it, it's basically Planck divided by 2 pi. So then it becomes a form of radians. How to look at like, the angle.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Because you're squaring something, so it's like
Did you say
dimensional.
2 pi?
Yeah, so when you take Planck, this fundamental Planck constant that Max Planck came up with, you take this number, this is
And then you do it infinitely?
and then, what do you mean you do what infinitely?
Isn't pi infinite?
Pi is 3.14
just
with the
haven't
decimal
found the
base. It goes, so that's a good question. That leads to
She
a
was
whole
talking
nother
about this
topic because the math that I've been learning is very different from the math that we learned in school. There is no 0. It goes from 1 to 9 and it cycles back to 1. So with that number system, pi is perfect. There is no infinite repeating numbers.
Oh.
Because there's no decimal system. It's all working with whole numbers.
I know.
Makes much more sense, right? Seems
Yeah.
like it'd be more intuitive for children to learn that way, right? That's why this is almost your first math class
I know.
ever. This is like your 4-year-old, 5-year-old self
4 year, 5 year.
starting from the beginning where math is fun and intuitive and obvious. And spatial. And
I
you
feel like
see
I've
it.
been cheated. Okay.
Well, you go back. I've been telling my younger self what to ask for,
Oh.
and telling my younger self what information to seek out. So you can do that too, and then you merge with the timeline where you've been studying it since then.
So,
Yeah, it's
Thank
real. Yeah.
So if pi is 3 point whatever, it's supposed to encompass every single combination of numbers. Is that right? That number.
Pi is merely the relationship between the circle's circumference and the diameter, or you could say the relationship between the circumference and the radius, but in that case you would double the radius. But it's relating this distance to this distance. It's just a ratio.
Okay.
But the way
And
that
it encompasses every single number, apparently.
so
Is
just
that
by
right?
having, so that's why I came to the conclusion that a sphere, all God needs to do is think of a sphere. Like the concept of a sphere is the concept of separation, that all of this is created from just spheres.
Yes.
And yeah.
You guys are in it. I don't really want to interrupt.
I'm recording it.
Are you recording right now?
You're part of it now, Nick.
You're a part of it. Go ahead. What is it? Do you need to say anything or?
Just spit it out.
This
Yeah.
is like some meta math.
Let it inspire
It's-
your music.
Yeah.
I'll come back.
Yeah? Okay, sounds good. All right, it won't be too long. Okay, so you're asking great questions, which are opening up to get a sneak peek at other things to talk about. Because if you were to take a pole and you had a piece of string, and you had, say the pole was cut off at the top, so where you could use one piece of string to go across the pole, like the diameter, and then use another piece of string to wrap around the pole, and you were to compare those two lengths, that's a ratio. And any circle in this universe, their circumference related to the diameter is always going to be the same ratio.
Oh, I love that.
But with this other number system,
And that's pi?
and that's pi, that's all it is.
Really? Now
That's
we
all
know.
it is. Yeah. And a
Stupid
great way
Muppet.
to teach kids would be to go to like a stump that had been cut off and use one string, and you go to every stump you go to, and you were to measure it and see that the ratio is always the same.
Okay.
Just like
It stopped
pi.
recording, I
Just
don't
like
know why.
golden
Keep
ratio.
going.
That's okay. This is recording.
Okay, good.
So we've got our Planck length little mirror sphere here, and I won't go into that too much, but the certain light can go in, and certain light is going to be reflected. It's like it's one of those two-way mirrors that certain light will go through, and then other light will reflect and come back.
I
And
didn't
it's
know
the
that.
same on the other side.
Have you seen one of those?
And so
mirrors?
this is this is
With
sort
the
of
video?
like a theory
Like this
individual.
one. It's like this one.
It's like this,
Oh,
but
I never
it's
saw that.
more
It's
sophisticated.
mirroring,
bec-
it's not a mirror. Okay.
Yeah, it's like this one, but it's a concept I'm working on of where we're emitting light through the pixel in our heart that is our portal connection to God's source love. One I am consciousness. That's that one I am consciousness creating a tiny sphere and looking through that sphere through the illusion of a Hannah character at the world around me through this one tiny sphere, but I'm really looking at all the other infinite spheres, and that one I am creator is looking simultaneously through all of them at once at its own self. But we have this illusion that we can pretend we're just a pixel of it looking at one, having one experience.
Well, it's a funny illusion to have created. But that's just in terms of focus, and because we're not quite open yet for the whole dimensions to synchronicity.
Well, I'm open for the dimensions.
Well, of course you are. That's why you speak in the way you speak.
Well, do you want to be?
Well, I already am in a sense, but
Okay.
I'm speaking of the
Because if
majority.
you say we're not, you're coding
being
that
a
into the reality. When you
Yeah.
when you say we're not doing this, that's the reality you're generating. So it's okay to a degree. I think 10%, as long as it's followed up by we need to do why.
You don't want to
Where
deny
does the
reality.
hologram fit into this part, into those spheres?
Because the hologram is creator looking through the one sphere, and the hologram that creator created
Is
can God, like it's like God can look through my eyes and see all of God's creation by being able to look through my eyes and experience what it would look for, from one point of view. Because God is all seeing and all knowing, it's like I want to take a break and just look at it from one perspective. But really, that's happening all the time, everywhere, and we are just, So anyway,
All the bubbles.
all the
All
bubbles,
the spheres. All the spheres. All
Yep,
the infinite
it
spheres.
it is infinite spheres. So we have this Planck length sphere here, and now we're gonna nest that sphere in another sphere that is gonna be exactly golden ratio size larger. So just to go over golden ratio, when you have an egg, you have a sphere at the bottom. If you were to look here, this part is a perfect hemisphere of a circle. And then this curve is a golden ratio curve, these two curves. That's why an egg enhances meditation. Because golden ratio is what allows life force. That golden ratio allows us to be alive. It supports life force. And I've gone over it a lot in other videos. I feel like you two both know golden ratio. Yeah? Do you know, Kerry?
It's been there, it's
Okay,
sprinkled through, but I
let's
haven't
just
actually
go
looked
real quick
Yes,
through
please.
Fibonacci. Okay, so Fibonacci is when you start with, we're just going to do it the normal way. If I'm going to use this other number system without 0, I would actually start with 9, which is
Okay,
interesting.
right.
Okay, so
makes
Fibonacci is 0 and then 1. It's seeding it with 0 and 1. It seeds the whole series. And so you have 0 plus 1. You basically add these two numbers to find out what the next one's going to be. So what would
right, yeah.
Yeah,
Add them together, the last
Why
one and
does-
the next one.
Why are you saying exceeding it?
I'm seeding it because I have to choose two numbers to start with.
So do the next
I
one.
could choose any two
Just
numbers.
like a male, female make a baby.
Yep.
So
you-
1 plus 2 is 3.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Oh,
What would the next one be?
2.
1.
No?
So we add these
0.
two numbers to get the next number. When we
Oh,
add
0.
these two, what's
So it's
0
1.
plus 1?
0.
1.
I know, aren't we funny?
You're both
It's
changing
a
your. Okay,
But I
Let-
thought it goes
let
to
me
2.
raise
Oh,
your
I thought
hand.
it's 2.
Raise your hand when you have your final answer. What
My
is the
final
next
I'm
number?
gonna choose
1.
1.
Okay, final answer.
1.
Okay.
Yeah. See, when you think too much,
Okay,
all
next
sorts of things happen.
next is not a trick
2.
question.
2.
Okay.
I know. That's like some grand.
The next one.
3.
3.
Okay.
You went
5.
straight to 3 for some reason.
5.
5. 8. Thank you. I appreciate that generosity.
Let's go a little bit more.
13, which makes 4. But we're not going that way, are we?
Oh,
well,
that's
we
cool.
can. Let's do that next.
That's what
Okay. What's next?
Oh, 8 and 13. 21, which makes 3. We go backwards now in the numbers.
Yes,
Isn't that
exactly. I know. I was
Just about to say that.
Okay, and we'll do one more, which is 34. All right, let's, while we're at
Adds
it,
up quick,
let's just
boy.
go ahead and do it with the new number system that I'm telling you.
cool?
Is
Okay.
There is no 0. You cycle through 1 and 9, and you reduce it just like Kerry's talking about. When it gets more than one digit, you always add those two
And
to
then
get
it
the
goes
number.
back down, and then you go back up, and does it do that?
It's only cycling through 1 and 9. It's only working with those numbers. So
Can you
if
show us?
17
Show us.
becomes 8, you add
You
the
do
1 and the
it? But
7.
when do you
Yeah,
start
we'll
with,
do it right
I
here.
thought we're starting with 9.
We are.
Oh, okay.
We're doing another one.
Okay.
This is the tradition one most people are familiar with. Now, we're going to
9.
start with 9,
9.
No.
Yeah.
and then we're going to seed it with 1 as well.
Oh no.
Okay, so now what would the next number be?
Oh.
What's the next number?
9 and 1 is 10. 1.
Okay.
DHE.
Isn't that interesting?
That is so interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Look at that. It's so pretty too. Yes.
And look at the numbers that it is.
Amazing. I don't know. I just feel it feels like woo.
So there's 3 things that I see. Okay, when I was a kid growing up, when you had an emergency, you called 911.
Oh my God. That's freaking.
Wait, but
freaky.
9 plus 1
scary.
is 10, which
Right.
is 1.
9 plus 1 is 10, but what
Binary.
you do with this number system that we're doing
You
right
reduce
here,
it to
you
the
only
one
ever
number.
use 1 through 9, and if it's
Got
ever
you.
2 digits, you always add them together
Okay,
to reduce it.
911.
Nothing is a coincidence.
Isn't that interesting?
Janine, right?
So that was the number we called, so it was associated with emergency. Then September 11th, 9/11.
No,
But
I think
I
that.
heard that it's
Yeah.
considered, it's Christ's birthday.
Oh, you think that's Christ's birthday?
So
What, September
interesting,
11th?
huh? Christ's birthday. But then it gets associated with these
Knowledge,
other things
Christ
because that was supposed to be the date when Nasara was released on September 11th.
And the Sarah
There's one
again.
every
They were
year,
gonna.
they have
It was
a
gonna be a
chance this
whole
year.
new
What is it again?
quantum financial system was gonna be released on that day, and the abundance
Maybe
released.
this year.
So we're recoding to love these numbers, like if we see it on the clock.
Yes, please.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
because we see how divine it is.
Varun's
If this
birthday.
is the
Did you
real
know that's his birthday?
Fibonacci.
What?
Yes, and this
I
is
did
the real
not know that.
Fibonacci.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not
Oh, he's a
kidding.
Virgo.
I'm not kidding.
Okay, so let's just go a little bit more. So what would it be?
Oh, we just do the last 2, right? 2?
Yep.
And then 3 again. And then 5 again. Cinque. And then 8.
Okay, so now we can have the 5 plus 8 is.
13. I mean, 13.
They're answering in
Which
Italian
is four.
now.
Quattro. What?
I love it.
Yeah.
So
makes
so
quattro.
it's
Yeah,
gonna 5 plus 8 is 13, but we add the 1 and the 3, so we get 4. And then what's gonna be the 8 and 4 is.
Sorry. 9, 10, 12. 12, it makes a trois. 3.
And then the French is coming in now too. Yeah,
So it goes
I
back
gotta
down
start.
here again. Let's ease. Go
I'll
around.
switch the lesson and start speaking in Greek.
Yes,
to y'all in
translate
Greek.
it.
So this pattern,
Nirvana.
yeah. So and then we have 1 again. 7 plus 1 is 8.
Adim.
Let's see, does it repeat? And we go to 9. It goes back to 8. And then that's 17. That's like 8 again. 8 and 8 is 16, which is 7. 8 and it. Okay, so now I want to point something out because you see how much easier this is than adding those huge numbers.
I know.
But yet those huge numbers are all identical. If we were to continue this,
Yeah.
we would have the same series as this.
So this creates something new, you're saying.
Well, it's a different form of it. It's a more simplified form because the implications for computing of using a number system like this, which is only 1 through 9, and repeats, and that it's only 1 digit, and whenever it gets bigger than that, it's immediately purified. It's immediately like fractalically reduced to its more simple form. Because then a computer working with only single numbers, a computer not needing to calculate massive numbers, you can see how this has major implications for coding, software, programming,
Right.
hardware.
I know.
Because they only
Because they use
zeros
0 and
ones
1.
instead of 9.
The whole system comes from 0 and 1. And so this is a whole different
So
number
everything
system
they
where there
have,
are no decimal
they don't have a
systems.
brain that
They're always working with whole units of
So
separation.
no zero.
So they don't have a brain, the computer don't have a brain that computes what a 9 or 8 is. They just separate everything to the binary of
Well, you could just
9
structure the
ones.
code to where the
Decimals,
computer.
right? I don't
was-
even know.
What's that?
Oh, she was asking.
I'm just trying to figure out binary quickly.
Binary is 0 and 1, and then it's on and off. But then you will have binary representing a large number
How does
through
one,
zeros and ones. But then binary, even though it's smaller than the number, like it might be a simpler way of representing that number. if that number can be represented in a fraction of those zeros and ones,
Yeah.
it like say it takes like 12 zeros and ones to represent that number.
Yeah.
But then with this system, it only
is that
takes like
number.
4, like the computer, it's like you could teach the computer how to reduce the number before adding. Like you see how we're doing it right here? We reduce, as soon as this 8 and 9 made a 17, we immediately reduced it. It's more complicated to add 17 to 8 than 8 to 8, especially as the numbers get bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah.
So if they did computing that way, they wouldn't need all those huge millions of miles of data storage.
Because this is the science of like, this is
There's space.
perfected fractality.
Wow.
This is perfect. This is how to, this is the
I
same
love
goal that we
Effective
have.
Practicality,
Mhm.
beautiful. Can I just ask
This
one
is-
quick question
yeah.
about binary? What is the zero? What's the point of zero? Can't you just tally? I mean,
It's like the path to
get
the
it either.
0 point. There's a whole thing that Marco goes into with looking at, if you look at like, you have this center point, right? This is where God, Creator, all one, is looking through the sphere out at the world around. But 0 represents that. It basically represents the source that it's emanating from, that all of the numbers are emanating from.
it's almost like we have
It's
to
sort
start
of
from
like
nothing.
9. 9 is like the portal number.
Yeah, portal number.
That like 9 is portaling in that divine source. That's why it kind of makes sense that you replace the 0 from the number system we're used to with the 9. It's
Yeah.
like it's the ultimate, because the 9. Okay, I can.
And then the 3, 6, 9 come into that because 3 and then 6.
Yeah, I'll show you this diagram.
I feel like that's a philosophical
Since
answer.
we're on it, and you asked what 0 is. Let's just go into it, but I'll do my best because this is still pretty new to me, but it's not. It's basically. I don't even necessarily remember the numbers, but it doesn't really matter. It's like this is the carrier wave. I can't remember if the 3 is here. I have it in my car, but I meant to bring it in. Darn it.
We can do it next time, but it's nice
But
to
I'll
have
show
it
you the
started.
pattern
Yeah.
at least. It's like.
Cool. That's the sphere.
Oh, I messed it up already.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, it's
though.
helpful to see you try and work it out yourself.
It's like this.
And
This-
then
I
more
connected
through
that
this.
there, but it should have been like this.
Okay. It's like nesting, yeah?
This is a circuit here.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you did
Oh
show me
yeah,
this
I've seen
before.
this.
Yeah.
You explained that before.
And
yeah,
my
okay.
theory that this circuit that
Yeah.
we've been looking at is a graviton. And so it's like 2 photons.
So like infinity.
2 photons coupled together creates a graviton. And if you go into Tom Bearden's work, actually the place to start would be looking at what a photon is, because a photon is one oscillation of an electron, and it's actually a virtual electron, which is a negative charge. And this is positive time and negative time here. So that's why in the negative time concept is so key to understand. There's a stream of
it's
time
both.
going in totally backwards, parallel mirror image of our reality. Yeah. So it includes both, right? It's like you need that. It's like reality
Makes me
needs to
feel
be
so much calmer.
uncreated. It's like the hologram needs to flash. It needs to appear, but it also needs to disappear
It's
for the
the
next
balance.
frame of the hologram to be able to flash in. Creation, destruction, and the 6.
It's like the heartbeat, right?
A heartbeat, yeah. It's like Bearden says the universe is continuously being created and destroyed in every moment. And that's holographic reality where everything inside, so it's like coming through that God source portal of the heart And it's all light. Even though it appears like matter to us, this is just an illusion that we're creating for ourselves, and we're very good at creating it. Because it's all light being twisted into reality, into form and shape and color and feeling like things are solid. So this is a photon, okay, this is an electron. This is a positron. A positron is a negative charge moving backwards in time, from our perspective. From that perspective, all our electrons are positrons. And, do you know what I mean?
They're
It's
the
just
same
totally
thing.
flipped.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the
just
same
flipped.
thing. From their perspective, our electrons are positrons and our positrons are their electrons.
Sorry, who were they again?
Well, if we were going to talk to ourselves in that mirror reality, if we're going to see it from our perspective in that mirror reality, because we're almost
Negative time.
We're
Kind of,
almost
that's
like
kind of negative time.
negative time.
Like
That's
if we
why
went back to
negative
the future?
the negative time stream. It's important to
Like
Back to
comprehend
the
this.
the other
future.
side of the.
That's why they
of the
called it
thing.
Back to the Future,
Yeah,
didn't they?
they time traveled.
Because
Back.
back
I went
to the
off this
future.
Yeah.
That's why they did the flip. but
So
we
this
didn't.
is a
Okay.
photon.
You see what I mean?
Oh my
Is
god.
is one
Yeah.
'Cause I
complete
never really
oscillation.
got it. I got it on some level, but
So
Back
this
to
is
the
a
future.
photon
This
right
is
here.
parents and, like,
oh no, but
Is
there was
one
probably a thing with
complete
it. Sorry.
oscillation. Well, I can't bring the audience
No,
into
you're
it,
right,
so
you're
they don't know
right,
what
you're
you're
right.
hearing. If
Sorry.
it was related, but like,
Sorry.
and we can wrap this up soon. I guess it's been 26 minutes already. So this is a photon, and this is actually a virtual electron, and this is a virtual positron, but the negative charge moving forward in time and a negative charge moving backwards in time. But now, so that's what a photon is now. A graviton is when two photons couple together, and then, but in the virtual particle flux. So my theory is that this pattern right here is a graviton, and that because they found this and they're aware of it, and I think that that's what this is representing. But in the 9,
Like ovaries.
and I don't know, I'm gonna pretend this
The
is
3
6
and
and
the
this is
6.
3.
Yeah, yeah,
So
okay, I
creation
know
and
what it-
destruction, but this is the carrier wave that holds space for these virtual particles to come in and out of existence, and for this graviton of the photons coupling, the virtual photons coupling and decoupling, coming together and breaking apart, coming together, breaking apart. That's happening in the virtual photon flux. This like field that's just like everything's shifting all the time and it's all virtual. And that's what's creating the illusion of the physical matter that seems fixed. But if we learn how to work with this more fundamental layer and introduce energy that can go all the way down to that layer and help sort it from the bottom up, we can work with certain conditions of where the physicality got complex in a weird way because something got off deep in the quantum layers.
yes.
So,
So exciting.
well, maybe that's enough for now because I feel like
Yeah.
I want to just like, keep it
And I like
manageable.
that.
But this, and I'll go through this another time because I'm not doing it justice and my image got totally off. And there's numbers that are here. It's a 9-pointed star.
Oh yeah. I saw the video.
This is
about that.
1.
How
think-
video or another one?
A different one.
This is 2, 3. Is this one 5? Maybe. I'm not sure.
No, I don't see
6.
that.
4
Uh,
and 7.
Unless
I'm
you-
not getting this right.
Unless
This is
you
okay.
count them
Ignore
twice.
the numbers.
Unless you count them
Is,
twice.
would that be
4 and 7.
4 and 7?
I think you have to count each one, the middle part.
I don't know if we're doing it right though, according to the
Unless you do the middle
diagram.
point 3 times.
Either way, it might not be in the right order, but it's the right idea. So you could edit this
I
part.
think what if this is 1 plus 6 is 7. Anyway, yeah, I'm not doing it right, but it's okay. It's you get the basic idea that this is a circuit, and I want to do this in 3D anyway. But you see the 9, the 3 and the 6 are never touching. There's always the 9 in between because this is bringing in that divine light, and this is like a carrier wave, and you can see how the carrier wave is. These are kind of like looping around it. Do you see how they're kind of
Yep.
going through that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right
and
through
that's
the
the
middle.
carrier
It's
wave.
going right through the middle. of
Yeah, and the toroidal vortex map
it.
has the 3, 6, and 9s are all in the same ribbon, and then the 1, I think it's like 1, 2, 4, 8, 5, 7. Anyway, I have it. I need to
Oh yeah,
study
there were
that
5
more.
evens
but-
and 5 odds or something. That was another
yeah,
system.
Anyway, okay. we'll wrap this up. Yeah. Okay. Thank you all for joining. Thank you both for joining.
Thank you
Special
for
friends.
presenting.
You're
Special
amazing.
friends.
Love you all so much. All right. We'll talk to you all
Love you
soon. Okay.